Three major weather events are unfolding across Australia right now. 150 millimetres of rain in the driest corner of the country, a developing tropical cyclone heading straight for Western Australia's coast, and severe thunderstorms bearing down on Queensland within hours. If you live anywhere from Broome to Brisbane, the next 72 hours will change everything. Right now, satellite imagery shows a massive tropical low 21 uniform sitting northeast of Broome. This system has been organising for 6 hours with good rainfall wrapping around the centre. Here is what nobody is talking about. This is not a small system. By Western Australian standards, this is large, very large. The impacts will stretch 200 kilometres up the coast and 200 kilometres down from the crossing point. Within the next 2 hours, this tropical low moves offshore into the Indian Ocean. That is when intensification begins. The system will spend 24 to 72 hours over warm water gathering strength. Current forecasts show landfall near Exmouth in 3 days, but multiple models combined with an approaching upper-level trough suggest the actual track will be closer to Dampier or Karratha, most likely early Sunday morning. A tropical cyclone watch is already in effect from Degree Grey down to Onslow. This will be upgraded to include Exmouth later today. Wind gusts will approach 120 to 130 kilometres per hour. Rainfall totals between 150 and 200 millimetres are forecast. Here is the critical detail. This storm is coming in at an angle. Even a 5-degree change in direction shifts the landfall point by hundreds of kilometres. A slight wobble north puts Port Hedland in the direct path. A wobble south brings Exmouth into the danger zone. If you are anywhere from Broome to Onslow, monitor this situation closely starting right now. What should you do today? Clean up your backyard, secure anything that could become a projectile in 125 km/h winds, check emergency supplies, talk to your workplace because if this tracks south toward Exmouth, you might be looking at Monday off work. Do not wait until Saturday. The time to act is Friday. Today, drop a comment below telling me where you live in Australia. I will give you a specific forecast for your exact location. Comment your city or town right now. Severe thunderstorms are forecast for today across a massive zone from northern South Australia through southwestern Queensland into northwestern New South Wales. The atmospheric conditions are extremely favourable for supercell development. These storms will produce destructive wind gusts and heavy rainfall. Peak timing is between 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. Friday. Specific locations in the highest risk zone include Thargomindah, Quilpie, Windora and communities across the northern South Australian border. Storm cells can go from nothing to severe in 15 to 20 minutes. Keep your phone charged. Have your weather radar app open. A trough extends towards Sydney. Thunderstorms will be sporadic across New South Wales, but strong storms could develop in the foothills around Sydney, the Hunter region and Barrington Tops this afternoon and evening. If you are in Newcastle, the Central Coast or Western Sydney suburbs, stay alert between 4 p.m. and 10 p.m. today. Between Saturday and Sunday, thunderstorm activity continues across Central Australia. Rainfall accumulations of 150 millimetres are possible. Some isolated areas could record 200 millimetres. We are talking about locations that typically receive 100 millimetres in an entire year. Places like Inaminka, Moomba and Lake Eyre normally see 100 millimetres annually. This weekend's rainfall could represent 2 years' worth of rain falling in 3 days. For northeast and South Australia around Lake Torrens and the Birdsville Track, this is some of the best rainfall in years. The water will flow into the Lake Eyre Basin. Because catchments are already saturated, we are looking at localized flooding around the Birdsville Track and north of Marrie. This rainfall is life-changing for remote communities, but also challenging. Roads will be cut, the Birdsville Track will become impassable in sections. If you have travel plans through remote South Australia or southwestern Queensland this weekend, reconsider them. Do not attempt to cross flooded roads. City by city breakdown. Adelaide, your weekend looks clear and pleasant. Temperatures in the low 30s Celsius. Melbourne, similar story, mostly sunny, mild temperatures. Sydney, isolated thunderstorms possible Friday afternoon and evening, particularly western suburbs. Saturday looks clear. Sunday brings slight chance of showers. Canberra, mostly clear conditions with temperatures in the high 20s to low 30s. Brisbane and southeast Queensland, your weather has been unusually dry. Humidity levels are well below normal for February. A southeasterly change is forecast, but do not expect significant rainfall. The high pressure system in the Tasman Sea is keeping things very dry. However, the pattern changes dramatically next week. Wednesday the 11th brings increased thunderstorm potential across central Queensland. Moisture surging from the southeast Queensland coastline will spike instability ahead of thunderstorm development on Thursday the 12th of February. Thursday the 12th is shaping up as a significant thunderstorm day for southeast Queensland and northeastern New South Wales. We are not talking high-end severe storms, but heavy rain producing thunderstorms, rain dumpers, storms that sit and pour, decent instability, good moisture, but almost no wind shear means vertical storms that do not move much. Timing for Thursday the 12th, storms develop mid to late afternoon across the Darling Downs and western southeast Queensland. They move east through the evening, reaching Brisbane, the Gold Coast and northern New South Wales overnight Thursday into early Friday. Rainfall totals of 50 to 100 millimetres are possible if you are under the right cell. This will be patchy. Far north Queensland has consistent rainfall along the Cassowary Coast and Daintree Coast. Moderate to heavy falls expected through late morning and early afternoon today. Tomorrow, Saturday afternoon and evening, rainfall intensifies. This continues through Sunday into Monday with heavy morning rainfall, then slowly easing. Showers and thunderstorms remain in the forecast through next week as a weak tropical low develops north of Papua New Guinea. River levels are rising. Flood cameras show significant water flow through far north Queensland catchments right now. Flooding is possible over 48 hours, but this is wet season. This is normal for early February. Cairns expect showers and thunderstorms through the weekend and into next week. Daily rainfall totals between 30 and 70 millimetres likely. Port Douglas, similar situation. Cooktown, you are in the zone for heaviest rainfall Saturday night into Sunday. Townsville, you are on the southern fringe. Showers possible but less likely. Darwin and the top end, typical build-up season thunderstorms. Daily afternoon and evening storms continue. Rainfall generally between 10 and 30 millimetres per day. Perth, beautiful weather this weekend. Clear skies, temperatures in the low 30s. Hobart, mostly sunny conditions with light winds. Temperatures in the low to mid-20s. Now the 5-minute promise. The tropical cyclone developing off Western Australia is not just a Western Australian problem. This system will inject enormous moisture into the interior after it crosses the coast. The remnant low will move inland across the Pilbara and into interior deserts, potentially reaching South Australia and the Northern Territory. By Tuesday and Wednesday next week, we could see a secondary pulse of heavy rainfall across the Lake Eyre Basin and Northern Territory. This is on top of the 100 to 200 millimetres forecast this weekend. We are potentially looking at a multi-week rainfall event across Australia's arid interior. This is why I need you to comment your location below right now. The specific timing and impacts vary dramatically depending on exactly where you live. If you are in a remote community, if you rely on dirt roads, if you live in a flood-prone area, you need specific information. Comment below, tell me where you are. The atmosphere is setting up something we do not see often. Multiple weather systems converging to deliver widespread significant rainfall across normally dry parts of Australia. The tropical cyclone, the thunderstorm outbreak, the trough systems, the moisture feed from both the Indian Ocean and the Coral Sea. It is all coming together this weekend and into next week. For livestock producers across interior Queensland, South Australia and Northern Territory, this is substantial rain on country that needs it. But it brings challenges, flooding in low-lying paddocks, road access issues, check your stock, move animals from flood-prone areas, secure your infrastructure. For travellers, this is a major disruption period. The Birdsville Track will be closed or extremely difficult. The Streletsky Track will have sections cut by water. Roads across the Pilbara will be affected by the tropical cyclone. Contact local authorities for current road conditions before you depart. For urban Australians in major capitals, most of you will see minimal impact. But if you have family or friends in rural or remote areas, check in with them, make sure they are prepared with emergency supplies and multiple ways to receive weather warnings. Specific warning times to watch: Friday afternoon and evening, severe thunderstorm warnings for southwestern Queensland, northwestern New South Wales and northern South Australia. Warnings issued by the Bureau, typically 1 to 2 hours before storms arrive. Turn on notifications for the BOM weather app. Saturday, tropical cyclone advice updates every 3 to 6 hours for Western Australian coast. The watch area could be upgraded to a warning Saturday evening or early Sunday. Saturday is your last full day to prepare. Sunday, tropical cyclone warning likely in effect for Pilbara coast. Landfall expected Sunday morning, but timing could vary by 12 hours. Strongest winds and heaviest rainfall Sunday morning through evening for coastal areas. Inland Pilbara sees impacts Sunday afternoon through Monday. Monday, post-cyclone cleanup begins in Western Australia. Continued heavy rainfall possible across interior South Australia and southwestern Queensland as moisture feeds from cyclone remnants. Tuesday and Wednesday next week, watch for flood warnings across the Lake Eyre Basin, the Channel Country, and possibly the Georgina and Diamantina river systems. These are slow rising floods giving communities time to prepare, but they can last weeks. Thursday the 12th is your severe thunderstorm day for southeast Queensland and northeastern New South Wales. This is a week away, so the forecast will change, but current indications are strong for significant storm activity. The long-range pattern beyond next weekend shows a potential tropical low developing in the Coral Sea. This is still uncertain, but multiple models hint at it. If this develops, we could be looking at a third tropical system within 2 weeks, bringing additional heavy rainfall to far north Queensland. I am not forecasting this as certainty. Stay alert. We are in an active pattern favourable for tropical development. One system often creates atmospheric conditions favourable for others. For Perth Metro and southwest Western Australia, pristine weather this weekend. But pay attention to what happens Sunday and Monday with that tropical cyclone. Any shift in track further south brings wind and rain much closer to the metro area. It is unlikely but not impossible. For Adelaide and South Australia, north of Adelaide toward the Flinders Ranges and far north, significant rainfall likely this weekend. South of Adelaide, clear and pleasant. If you live in Adelaide, your weekend is beautiful. If you live in Quilpie, you might see one of the wettest weekends in years. For Alice Springs and Central Australia, you are in the thunderstorm zone. Rainfall totals this weekend could reach 50 to 100 millimetres. This is significant for Alice Springs, which averages around 280 millimetres per year. One weekend potentially bringing 1/3 of annual rainfall. Indigenous communities across the interior, this rain is beneficial but brings access challenges. Make sure you have adequate supplies, communication devices charged and working, and emergency contacts ready. Here is what you need to do right now. Check your phone has emergency alerts enabled. Download the Bureau of Meteorology app. Make sure you have multiple ways to receive warnings. Check your emergency kit. Water, non-perishable food, first aid supplies, torch, battery-powered radio, spare batteries. Get them today. Charge all devices. Phones, tablets, power banks. Fill your car with fuel. In remote areas, make sure you have a full tank plus spare fuel. Tell someone outside your immediate area your plans for the weekend. For those on the coast in cyclone-affected areas, secure your boat now. Bring outdoor furniture inside now. Secure loose items in your yard now. Do not wait until Saturday. By Saturday, conditions may already be deteriorating. The combination of events this weekend and next week represents a significant pattern shift. We are moving from a dry, stable pattern to an active, wet, stormy pattern. This shift will persist for at least the next 10 to 14 days. More rainfall is coming beyond what I have described. This is not a one-off weekend event. This is the start of an active period. If you have outdoor plans for the next 2 weeks, build flexibility into them. Stay informed. Check forecasts twice daily minimum, morning and evening. Conditions are changing rapidly. Use official sources, Bureau of Meteorology, state emergency services, local council warnings. Comment below with your location and I will give you specific updates in the next video. I cannot cover every single town in one video, but if you comment your location, I can provide targeted information. Do it now. The next video will have detailed updates on the tropical cyclone track, updated thunderstorm forecasts, and specific city forecasts for early next week. The situation is evolving hourly. What I'm telling you now is accurate as of Friday morning. By Friday evening, details will have changed. This is why you need to subscribe and turn on notifications. During active weather periods, I provide updates multiple times per day. You cannot get this level of detail from standard forecasts. This is practical, actionable information for real Australians. Your weekend is going to be shaped by weather. The question is whether you will be prepared or caught off guard. Take the next hour to get ready. Check your supplies, secure your property, charge your devices, fill your car, tell someone your plans. 1 hour. That is all it takes. And remember, comment your location below. The more specific you are, the better forecast I can give you. Do not just say Queensland, say Toowoomba or Bundaberg or Rockhampton. Specifics matter in weather forecasting. The next 72 hours will be significant across multiple parts of Australia. Stay safe, stay informed, and stay prepared. This is not about fear. This is about respect for the power of weather and the importance of being ready. More updates coming very soon. Comment